What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to take a look at Colleen Wing in PvP. We actually had her at level 9 last week, however my internet was down and then Squirrel Girl had an alternate costume released, though that just meant more levels for Colleen. But first I do want to thank James at AJ Designs for this awesome graphic. Now I'm also not quite sure why, but the final character stats were cut off in this fight. However, that is going to be fixed for the final match, so at least I got that straightened out. The only other thing is, yes, his first team's health was quite low, but I can only assume they had very high attack. And I left this match in there because it did a fantastic job of showing what Colleen's capable of. First of all, she has an extremely high chance of doing a follow-up attack. This can even happen on her interrupt, so that's what you just witnessed right there. Then when being paired up with the Dark Energy Blade and Union Jack, this team was a ton of fun. In fact, I was going to use Spider-Man Noir and Rocket as my 3 different team-ups, but I liked Union Jack so much we just stuck with it for the entire video. But let me just say this flat out, Colleen Wing is a fantastic hero. I really do like how she plays, and I hope you get a sense of that as well by the end of the video. I think if nothing else convinces you, the final match should. Just to give you her basic ISO setup for right now, while she obliterates this enemy team, we're using the Inspiring E-ISO. Then we don't have the second slot open just yet, and since we only have 2 A-ISO slots, we're trying the Knocking in our level 1 and Hemorrhaging on our level 6. After that, our agent setup was pretty heavy on counters or even a preemptive with the Grace Note. However, I will say, at least in the current environment, it became very beneficial to have something like the Mystic or the Lantern of Doom. I just found that it's going to make a huge difference in almost every fight. Not quite in this one because there is a Horseman of Pestilence, but he's kind of dropped off in favor of Kurth Emma Frost Colossus, or of course Spider-Man Noir and Rocket Raccoon. But here you're going to see, well, we get a lot of follow-up attacks, and because of that, Enchantress is going to really get hurt right off the bat. Besides your pretty high chances of follow-up attacks with Colleen, after using her level 6, you're going to see quite a few interrupts as well, and they do actually interrupt attacks. So all in all, what you'll have with Colleen is a pretty decent attacker as far as damage. She's going to apply bleeds with that open wound. Of course, she will also protect allies who have less than 60% health from single or area attacks, and she has a chance of block taking reduced damage. So there's kind of a defensive aspect as well, and her being a generalist definitely helps. After that, as I've already pointed out, she has a very high chance to perform a follow-up attack after any single target attacks, even her interrupt, and after that follow-up she removes debuffs and gains health. And that health gain can end up being huge. The follow-up can be triggered by her passive or by flanked, either way she's getting health back, and removing debuffs if possible. Then we haven't even mentioned her level 9, which has Deadly Crits, Brutal Strike, Exploits Bleeds, and Paragon Exploiter. Now although we won't be focusing on it too much in this video, we're definitely going to zero in on it in that All Hail the King episode, so that'll come out later this week. However, as far as his team up with Union Jack, we know we have the follow-up angle. He also causes flanked, and we did put the pressurized A-ISO on his level 2. So yeah, like I said, it's a very fun team, and it does do quite well. Though I'm sure that Spider-Man Noir and Rocket are also going to be great. And they may even be better in this meta. Well, we know Rocket's going to have all ranged attacks, and you could use the Blaster, which will at least help against any bruiser with that elite E-ISO. But we'll have to cover those other teams in a future video. Like I said, we're going to stick with this team in this one, and this final match is going to be quite a good one. Plus, we did get a Match of the Week contestant as well, but I'm going to hold that one back for later. The other good news is we fixed the actual framing for this final fight. That was driving me crazy. But this last enemy team, as you can see, is double worthy. They're immune to a ton of different things, they had the Mystic Shroud, and we took the cube off, so we definitely have our work cut out for us. My first thought was to go ahead after the agent. He doesn't have the elite E-ISO because he is a tactician, and so I figured if we could take him out, that would at least make our job a little bit easier. By the way, the Dark Energy Blade actually gives us extra turns, and it has a follow-up attack, so it's pretty awesome with this team as well. Then as usual, Colleen Wing does get her follow-up attack, and she gains over 4,000 HP back. Now imagine if she had a blessing buff. That's something I haven't tried out yet, but it may make her healing even better. Alright, just to cut in here and follow up on that, I tried her out and it doesn't matter who with, but it was with Rescue, and she had the Blessed A-ISO, so I granted Blessing to all my heroes, and after following up an attack, Colleen Wing gained over 8,000 HP back. That is pretty ridiculous, but I love it, so that's just something you may seriously want to keep in mind. Now back to this fight. We're doing okay, but their agent is extremely hard for us to damage. Of course it doesn't help when Null steps in every other attack, but at least we are getting him lower on health as well. Now Kurth is who we're actually worried about, and we're definitely going to save her for last. She's a bruiser, I'm assuming with the elite E-ISO because Null doesn't have it, which in this setup was probably a mistake. If he would have had it, we would most likely lose very badly. But besides our dots, we're going to hopefully get our preemptive counters and follow-ups going, and ultimately we should be able to win this, unless Kurth goes out of control. And speaking of control, we actually got a mind control proc, and a Royal Arms preemptive counter, so that was pretty interesting. Sadly, just as we were getting the agent lower on health, he does gain a bunch back from the Signpost. But check out Colleen once again, she definitely heals a lot, and they're going to have some issues taking her down. Now right here, things get a whole lot worse since they do have that scroll. But at least on the next attack, we interrupt, and we get a follow-up attack as well. So we heal and trigger Union Jack. After that, with our agent, we're going to try the Dark Energy Blade, and hopefully we get a follow-up which will also get Union Jack in there. Okay, well first we cause Absorb Energy, then we miss and get no follow-up. Alright, well, I definitely agree we're not worthy. And then we're going to get hit with the Ragnarok'em Sock'em, but I don't mind because of that Absorb Energy. Plus we get another turn because of the Dark Energy Blade. So our stamina's looking pretty good, which is usually a battle. Now with Colleen we go back to her level 6, but we get hit by Cower. It looks like Null's going to have to recharge. And once Union Jack comes up, he's also affected by Cower. So here comes the passing every turn because of Cower proc's phase of the fight. You gotta love that. Well, I suppose on my agent's turn we'll use Inevitable Doom. And this may in fact come in handy, especially if their agent tries to remove their debuffs. But it looks like he's going to have to pass his turn. So with Colleen, we thought about using that level 9. But instead we'll go back to our level 6. And after Null steps up, we end up hitting our own Union Jack. So that was extremely unfortunate and definitely had me very worried about this match. Fortunately, on Null's turn we interrupt him. And then Union Jack, being very close to death, is still going to try his best. So we'll use V for Victory on the enemy agent, which misses. Next we'll go for Trench Warfare, and we end up attacking our own agent. So talk about terrible luck. We go from Cower procs to hitting our own team. On top of that, our agent's extremely close to death. But we will go ahead and use Sealed Safeguard. And then, hopefully we can knock out the enemy agent with the Relentless Rapier. I felt if we could just get this hit, we could win. And the unbelievable occurs. A third straight attack on our own team, basically. So the enemy agent, he's going to take a million turns, and the first one knocks out our agent. Then he goes for the Mystic, which does indeed land. At least he's taking bleed damage, and we get an interrupt, which stops whatever other terrible thing he's going to do. So now, Colleen is going to use her level 6 on the evil enemy agent. And unbelievably we miss. However, we do cause hemorrhaging, so he's very close to death. Kurth goes down to dots, then the agent, and with our final attack, we use our level 9. And there it is, a pretty crazy win, but we pull it out. And that's going to be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care. P.S. More Colleen actions coming this week, including some Paragon Exploiter / Exploits Bleeds teams, so you definitely don't want to miss that.